For today, in the name of freedom, we take the battle to them.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Transformers news video. Oh boy, no third-party stuff today, unfortunately, but we do have some official Studio Series news, and oh boy, it is, it's interesting. I hope you enjoy this image of Scourge, but enough fooling around. Let's just get straight into this, because we have some things to discuss. We'll start off with the deluxes and, Arachnid. Arachnid from Transformers 1. What a design. Of course, most people, I feel, know Arachnid from Transformers Prime. And while I will agree, her design in that show looked way better. Like, I'm talking leagues and leagues better. I'm not saying this design is bad. I think this design is pretty cool. I just feel like they maybe could have added a bit more color to it. But that's me critiquing the design, not the figure. The figure looks absolutely glorious. Now, obviously, by the nature of the design, she will probably have some limited articulation. Of course, there's not going to be any ankle tilt. I mean, look at what she's standing on. The arms are, oh my god, the elbows are ball joints. Oh no. I'm sorry, but any Transformer that has ball joints in the elbows, to me, it just comes off really cheap. It feels like something that knockoffs would do. I don't like that. But yeah, I feel like as an accurate, recreation of her design in the movie, I honestly don't really know how they could have improved this, aesthetics-wise. Because, even looking at her freaking, vehicle hover mode thingy, obviously it is pretty much nothing, It's just a Cybertronian thing. But it is accurate to the movie. And it looks just like this in the movie. So, again, cannot argue with it. At all. I do want to see how the feet transform, though. Because that whole little propeller thing at the back looks to be made out of the back, and the legs seem to be the propellers, I think. I could be wrong, but, really, really interesting. One thing that I do find interesting, right, and by the way, I think it's 35 steps. For Deluxe, that's mental. The box art. Obviously, you have her vehicle mode here, right? You go up. Her robot mode eyes are purple on the box. Now, granted, it could just be the lighting of these photos, but the eyes of the figure look blue. Obviously, it could just be my Transformers Prime bias, but Arachnid with the purple eyes would have been sick. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is Arachnid from Transformers 1. Don't really have many complaints on it, honestly. It's pretty accurate to the movie. It doesn't have to be the most posable thing in the world, because it's not like she was very posable. I feel like if I was to nitpick, the only things that I would change are the elbows. Make the elbows, pins. And just as like an extra feature, it would have been cool if the back of her head opened up to show all the eyes and stuff. That would have been really awesome. But yeah. The next deluxe that we have is Studio Series The Last Night Barricade. A figure that a lot of people have been dying to have since 2018, since this line started. Because, of course, this design is now 8 years old. I want you to just think about that, okay? Where were you 8 years ago when Transformers The Last Night came out? That is ridiculous. But here we finally have the Last Night Barricade, and I'm disappointed. Look, I have the original figure. I quite like the original figure. It is obviously the most bare, basic, simple version of a car transformer you could make. Where the chest folds up, the arms bend inwards, and the feet bend inwards and then plug together, and boom, there you go, there's the car. Very, very simple. But my main problem with that figure was the color scheme. I was like, why is it navy? Why? In the movie, it was this bright, shiny blue. And I was so excited for the Studio Series figure to do that. And what do we get? Just a different type of dark blue? Why? Why? Why is it so difficult just to get the right color? Because I believe it was there was a die cast. They used to have like those die cast versions of the cars. I know they had Bumblebee, Crosshairs, Barricade. I'm not sure if they had others, but back then, the die cast Barricade looked gorgeous because it was that very bright, shiny blue that he was in the movie. And then you get to the freaking Studio Series figure and he's just blue again, like dark blue. Look, the color aside, I don't know what it is, but there's something off about his face. I don't know what it is. I don't know, maybe it's the fact that like it looks like the light blue part is like the white part of his eye. I forgot what it's called. And the red part looks like the pupil. So it just looks like he's just looking at his nose. Not a fan of the head sculpt. The chest, I don't really like how the chest looks, but I can't complain because that's how it looked in the movie. So that is a complaint that's negated. Accessories. I honestly don't know if he comes with the spirally gun thing. Oh, no, he does. Okay, I was about to complain. I was just about to go on a tangent. I was like, that is his most iconic weapon in that movie. Even though, he didn't really do anything, and I don't remember him actually using the weapon, still, that's the most iconic weapon he has. But easily the worst thing about this figure, in my opinion, are the feet. What the hell is that? It's like a flat panel, and then just has this thing sticking up. Like, why? I don't understand Hasbro. They make these stupid decisions. Like, such dumb things. Like with Galvatron, the Studio Series Age of Extinction Galvatron, with the truck bed. Or the Age of Extinction, the Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime. Why would it be so hard just to clean the truck bed? Especially for Rise of the Beast Prime. All you had to do was just make the back parts a panel and then it can, just flatten. You were over here. Why couldn't you just have that piece like fold away? It's such small things. But the thing is, they are so obvious. It's like, how do you look at that as a designer and go, yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't see any issue with the feet whatsoever. Oh my god. The only big positive I will give this figure is the vehicle mode. I think the vehicle mode is beautiful. Obviously, it is officially licensed by Ford. And yeah, it looks really cool. Don't know what that hole is at the back. Don't know what that is. But yeah, apart from the shade of blue not being anywhere near what it was in the movie, I think that the vehicle mode is freaking perfect. I mean, it's definitely concept art, but I do also quite like the render that they chose for Barricade. Again, not what he looked like in the movie, but, cool. Wait, hold on. What is going on here? It says Ford sticker to go there, but the Ford sticker is over there. What? He's only 23 steps. That's kind of crazy, considering that TF1 Arachnid is 35. You look at an animated design and a live-action design, you would never say that the one from the animated movie has 12 extra steps. But one thing that I just want to talk about here before we carry on with the rest of the reveals is the bios for these guys. Barricade searches for the Guardian Knight's talisman. Let me show you something. This was the bio for the 2007 Leader Class Megatron. Locked in frozen stasis for hundreds of years, the vast and monstrous mind of mighty Megatron slept and dreamt of conquest. His conscious memory of that time is fragmented and confused. a stop-motion zoetrope of images that filtered into his optic processors during periods of slight warmth. He remembers a vast herd of shaggy creatures, nearly as big as himself, a tribe of tiny, primitive organics who worshipped his inert body as a god. The heat and fire of a battle likely fought over the incredible technology encased in his form. Now, for the first time, however, he feels his entire body coming alive again as warmth and complete sensorium return. Megatron rises again to functionality. He rises again to revenge. What a fucking bio! That is so freaking sick, man. That is awesome. And that, like, what? Obviously, like, this is very loosely based on the movie because I don't really know what they're referring to when they say, like, the things that worshipped his body. But that's a crazy statement. But still, they made such an amazing description here. And you'd think that, freaking, 18 years later, that, they would have come up with even more creative things. What do? Barricade searches for the Guardian Knight's talisman. That's it. Okay, I might have gone off on a bit of a tangent there. I do apologize, but that is it for Studio Series Barricade. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm being a bit too harsh on this figure? And I'm just saying that whole bio complaint is not specifically for Barricade. It's just an entire thing. I just so happened to end up talking about it with Barricade. So, yeah. I could be blind, but even after researching, it seems that there's only one Voyager to talk about, and that is the TF1 Alpha TRION. Look, I loved Alpha TRION in the movie. Of course, Lawrence Fishburne delivers probably, I say one of, it might be the best line of the film, of when he says, "Arise, Optimus Prime." And, the only figure of Alpha TRION that we had was the TF1 Mainline Deluxe, which I actually did see when I went to the Dubai Mall, but it was 1,000 freaking rand, which for you Americans is $60 US. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen a new Transformer on a shelf in 5 years, but even I am not paying that price. So I was quite excited to see that they have made a Voyager Alpha TRION, and it looks quite good, apart from a few tiny imperfections. Look, first complaint, get rid of this stupid... I'm so sick of this gimmick of taking the tail of a cat transformer and just using it as a sword. I think that it's so dumb. With Alpha TRION, it does sort of work because, his tail does have spikes and stuff, but I see no harm in giving him like a gun or a sword or something. I don't really understand why they've done this. But I do quite like the colors on him. In the movie, we never saw Alpha TRION in his prime, pun unintended, but because he was, covered in moss and stuff, just a bunch of dirt, really. And he was very, very desaturated almost. So you get to the figure, and we have like an evasion mode Optimus Prime situation going on here, where, if you remember, in Age of Extinction, obviously, evasion mode Optimus Prime is very brown, rusted, sort of just wasted away, really. And the Voyager figure that released for that version of Prime was bright blue, bright red. It was just like any G1 Optimus colors. So, I don't know. And I think it looked good. And here, I think that this does look really good. Yes, it's drizzling outside. Oh, thank God. It has been cloudy and dark the whole morning, and it's finally drizzling. Yes! Sorry. What was it? Oh, yeah, the color scheme. Look, I really do like this. I feel like this is a much more appealing figure than if they had gone for the TF1, like, accurate version. But I feel like if you were going to do this, you should fully commit to it. Because here... yes, most of Alpha TRION is this beautiful purple, by the way. That's one of my favorite shades of purple. I think it looks absolutely stunning. The pink is beautiful. But then you get to the back and they added the mold on his back. I mean, you can mainly see it here in the alt mode, which I'm just going to say, I feel like they could have added maybe a bit more paint to the head. But apart from that, stunning, amazing, glorious. And I say they could have added paint to the head. I don't think in the movie that they made, I don't think he had any colors on his face. So really it is accurate. But yes, I love this. I love this color combination for Alpha Trion. This pink with this purple, I think is just stunning. But I think everyone can agree that they should have added the cape. This version of Alpha Trion is not complete without a cape. You did it 6 years ago with the Dark of the Moon Megatron. And that thing was so cool. Look, I don't care what anyone says. I really like the Dark of the Moon Studio Series Megatron. It could just be nostalgia because I was on holiday at the time, but hey ho. I went for an Ed Sheeran concert, and the most exciting thing was getting that Megatron. So yes, I actually do think that this is a really solid figure. Now, of course, you Americans, the prices are going up for you. I say that because we don't have Transformers in South Africa, so I can comfortably complain. Not complain, but I can brag about your prices going up. Let me tell you something, guys. Over here, we haven't received Transformers since December of 2020. And back then, and even now, for things that are still on the shelves, like Studio Series 86 Cup, 86 Jazz, the deluxes are, I believe it's equivalent, I'm converting rands to dollars, 45 US dollars. Voyagers are 60 and leaders are like 120, 128, something like that. So yeah, I just find it very amusing to see everyone cry about the prices going up. I'm like, oh, you have no idea. Look, like $42? I will happily pay $42 for this, man. This figure looks cool. I don't care. Is it 100% accurate? No. Does he have the cape? No. But I would really like this figure. Even the packaging. I really like the packaging. I don't know what it is about this figure. I think it's just the color combination. Honestly, one thing I would have loved is if they had made him just a bit bigger. I don't know his actual height, but I can just see from that box. I'm like, come on, man. You could make him a bit bigger. It's not like he's the most complex engineered thing in the world. He's the same amount of steps as Barricade, for God's sake. So yes, let me know what you guys think of the Studio Series TF1 Alpha Trion. And now we move on to the leader classes. And I'm glad that they did this so soon after the Age of Extinction one, because look, I love my Age of Extinction Prime. I have obviously customized it so that basically all of the drab gray is now silver, and I just think it looks way better now. And we knew that the TF5 Nemesis Prime was inevitable. I just didn't think it was going to be this quick. It took them so long to release freaking Ape Link for Rise of the Beasts when they didn't have to really do much to him. All they had to do was change the shoulder pads, the forearms, and the head sculpt. That is literally all they had to do. But yes, looking at Prime here, we do have a couple differences. We obviously have the shotgun now. I believe he comes with the same accessories. I think he still comes with the shield. He comes with the sword. What else did Prime come with? The Energon blade from Age of Extinction? I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, you can see he does have the shotgun, which he used in Age of Extinction. And in the last night, I believe, in that Bumblebee fight, he does have the freaking red on his face. And obviously the purple eyes, but mainly the unmasked head. Now, of course, if you were a professional customizer, you could literally just take this head, customize it, plop it onto the Age of Extinction one, and there you go. I am not that sort of person, and also, how the hell are you going to get the head of this figure without buying the entire thing? So, that doesn't really work. And you can see he does come with the arm blade that he uses to almost kill Bumblebee in the last night. No one will ever forget that teaser trailer. of when B runs at Prime, Prime slams him down and says, "Forgive me." That sent the Transformers fandom into absolute chaos. Yes, he does come with the exact same accessories. So, one thing I want to talk about with this figure, yes, he does have the different different forearms, which I never really cared for. I'm sorry. Nemesis Prime in the movie never changed appearance apart from the purple eyes and the red mark on his face. Apart from that, he is still Optimus Prime. Why do all of these Nemesis Prime figures go ahead and make all of the gray parts dark? Why do they always want to make the evil version of Optimus Prime dark? What are they trying to say about that, huh? Don't. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I do think that this this paint, I think it does work, but not for the entire figure. Like for the sword, I don't like it. For the shield, I don't like it. Like for Prime himself, it looks quite decent. But like for the truck mode, I just don't like the gas tanks, that whole thing being the dark gray. I don't know what it is about it. Like, why is the sun visor thing not gray? Why is the grill not gray? Like why are we like making selected parts gray? I really don't see why they did that. I feel like they could have just made it silver, or even just like a slightly darker gray, not this freaking like soot colored thing. And then here we have the back of the box. Of course, beautiful, beautiful. Of course, you have the render Prime there. You have the freaking room where they go to find the staff of Merlin. You have him holding his accessories there, and you have that awesome shot from the trailer. It's in the movie, but it was way cooler in the trailer, because in the movie he says, "Give me the staff, human." But in the trailer he says, "For my world to live, yours must die." The coldest line from any Transformers trailer. I don't care. And then what do we have for Nemesis Prime's bio? Nemesis Prime is the alter ego of Optimus Prime. But yeah, there really isn't much to talk about with this figure. I quite like my Age of Extinction Prime. And alongside Barricade, this guy is sort of just I quite like the box art. That's a common theme. They did actually change the box art. I'm only just now realizing this. The truck one is the same, but the robot mode, they made a different render. That's so cool. Also, his freaking hand looks like Wolverine's gauntlet in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's what it looks like to me. But yeah, I only just now realized that they made a new render for Prime. That's sick. But yeah, those of you who, both, whether you have fucking hell, whether you have Age of Extinction Prime or not, let me know what you guys think of this guy. And do you think that it is an upgrade to that figure? And the final one to talk about is ironically the one that I care about the least, and that is 86 Soundwave. Many of you know, I do not give a shit about these 86 figures anymore. I say anymore, I never cared for them in the first place. The only ones I ever wanted, and I got, thankfully, were Hot Rod and Scourge. But yes, looking at Soundwave here, he looks good. There really isn't anything I can say. I should expect that he should look good, considering they've been making the same design for 40 fucking years. Why? Why do we still get G1 figures in the year 2025? This 2026 actually. 2026. Why are we still getting these? The only 86 figure that we should be getting still is a Titan class Unicron, which then begs the question of next year, why did they choose Grimlock to be the Titan when it should have been Unicron? Oh my god. Hasbro makes some baffling decisions, They really, really do. But anyway, just talking about Soundwave here. Robot mode, yeah, looks good, cool. The freaking accessories. He comes with Laserbeak and Rampage. Both, look pretty good. Even though in this image, Laserbeak is a cassette, and the other guy is in his chest. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's gonna be able to fit both cassettes in there. Which, obviously, I'm not getting this figure, but I still feel like that's a missed opportunity, because even the Lego Soundwave, which I could get, even the Lego Soundwave, I don't know why they didn't make it so that you could fit both of the cassettes in his chest. I say both. There are three of them. Like his abdomen section, not abdomen section, his chest is so freaking wide. Well, I say wide. Like it comes out so far in the front and the back. And you're telling me you couldn't fit the three of them in there? That's mental. And here we have Soundwave in his alt mode with that beautiful piece missing. Thank you, Hasbro, for your amazing freaking product shots. Look, I really like the look of the cassette player. I'm going to be honest with you. I really, really like that. That looks pretty cool. The freaking, the actual minions themselves, I think, look great. Yeah. Honestly, as far as the G1 Soundwave goes, even though this is like the 800 millionth one that we've had, it looks cool. There is something else that I want to talk about with Soundwave, but there's just two more things that I want to talk about first, and that is this in-hand image of Soundwave here. You can see he is this very dark blue, which I'm happy about. Beautiful, beautiful images for in-hand stuff. And yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see any other in-hand images apart from him and Barricade. Which, I mean, he has Barricade, and literally everything I said about this figure still stands. I really don't like the blue that they chose. And one last bit of news, even though this is not Hasbro, is the YOLO Park Megatron. This was just revealed maybe 6 minutes before I started recording this video. Megatron will now include the Decepticon logo. I really don't know why they have done this. Does it complete the design? Yes. Does it look better than than him without the Decepticon logo? Yes. Do we technically see this in the movie? Sort of, because you don't really see Megatron with the logo that well. But yeah, like in the main fight, Megatron does not have the Decepticon logo. But really, I can't complain, because I just love this thing so much. It looks so cool. Adding the Decepticon logo on is not really going to hurt it that much. So, yeah, I'm very, very happy that they're including a Decepticon logo here. And now let's just talk about oh god, one really funny thing regarding 86 Soundwave. So here we have the back of the box. We have Soundwave pulling off some poses, 28 steps. You show all of his little cassette boys. You go up to his bio. Soundwave sends his cassette troops on a spy mission. Fantastic. You have his image. You have his image. Is there anything that you guys notice here? How about the freaking play button in the bottom left? You are telling me that they got this from YouTube and they didn't even crop it properly? Look, I know that one could very much, they could say, oh, this was done on purpose. It's for Soundwave. Soundwave's a cassette player. They added the play. I really don't think that Hasbro's that smart. If this was like 2018, 2019, then yes, I could 100% understand them doing this. But ever since then, Hasbro has just sort of like been in the gutter. They really just sort of do the bare minimum. I don't think they would go through the effort of doing this. This is a mistake. I'm telling you, this is 100% a mistake. A funny mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude this news session. Please let me know what you guys thought of everything that we spoke about today. All the deluxes, the Voyager, the leaders, even the freaking YOLO Park Megatron, just anything, everything. Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this video, then please leave a like, subscribe, and goodbye.